Okay, I'm reading this book. The research behind this book was not originally intended to reveal anything about Freemasonry or the Knights Templar. Its objective had been to satisfy my own curiosity about certain unexplained aspects of the peasants' revolt in England in 1381, a savage uprising that saw upwards of 100,000 Englishmen march on London. They moved in uncontrolled rage, burning down manor houses, breaking open prisons, and cutting down any who stood in their way. One unsolved mystery of that revolt was the organization behind it. For several years, a group of disgruntled priests of the lower clergy had traveled to towns preaching against the riches and corruption of the church. During the months before the uprising, secret meetings had been held throughout central England by men weaving a network of communication after the revolt was put down. Rebel leaders confessed to being agents of a great society said to be based in London. So very little is known of that alleged organization that several scholars have solved the mystery simply by deciding that no such secret society ever existed. Another mystery was the concentrated and especially vicious attacks on the religious order of the Knights Hospitaller of St. John, now known as the Knights of Malta. Not only did the rebels seek out their priorities for vandalism and fire, but their prior was dragged from the Tower of London to have his head struck off and placed on London Bridge to the light of the cheering mob. There was no question that ferocity unleashed on the crusading Hospitallers had a purpose behind it. One captured rebel leader, when asked the reason for the revolt, said, first and above all, the destruction of the hospitals. What kind of secret society could have had that special hatred as one of its primary purposes? The desire for vengeance against the Hospitallers was easy to identify in the rival crusading order of the Knights of the Templar of Solomon in Jerusalem. The problem was that those Knights Templar had been completely suppressed almost 70 years before the peasants' revolt, following several years during which the Templars had been imprisoned, tortured, and burned at the stake after issuing a decree that put an end to the Templar order. Pope Clement V had directed that all of the extensive properties of the Templars should be given to the Hospitallers. Could a Templar desire for revenge actually had survived underground for 3 generations? There was no incontrovertible proof, yet the only evidence suggested the existence of just one secret society in 14th century England, the society that was or would become the Order of Free and Accepted Masons. Hold on, lost my place. Suggested to the existence of just one secret society in the 14th century England, the society that was or would become the Order of the Free and Accepted Masons. There appeared to be no connection, however, between the revolt and Freemasonry, except for the name or title of its leader. He occupied the center stage of English history for just 8 days, and nothing is known of him except that he was the supreme commander of the rebellion. He was called Walter the Tyler, and it seemed at first to be more coincidence than he bore the title of the enforcement officer of the Masonic Lodge in Freemasonry. The Tyler, who must be a master mason in this century, the sergeant at arms, and the officer who screens the credentials of visitors who seek entrance to the lodge. A remembrance of an earlier, more dangerous time. His post is just outside the door of the lodge room, where he stands with a drawn sword in his hand. I was aware that there had been many attempts in the past to link the Freemasons with the Knight Templar, but never with success. The fragile evidence advanced by proponents that connection had never held up, sometimes because it was based on wild speculation.